I'm a music and education student at U of T, and I'm also working part-time as a worship pastor intern at a church. My name is Jordan, and this is my move-in story. I came to St. Jamestown on a missions trip for a weekend in 2008 with my church, and so it's always been on my heart and on my mind ever since then. And so it was really cool to find out that there wasn't a team at the time and that I could move into the place that's been on my heart. I had read Shane Claiborne's Irresistible Revolution and was very inspired to live that way, live incarnationally as Christians in areas where Christians avoid. I heard about MoveIn soon after it started through a conference that my church was at. I was very interested because I knew I would be moving to Toronto for school. I met up with the Moss Park team, and I met Michelle there, and I met Catherine there, and I was like, I'm gonna move in St. Jamestown. And they're like, well, that's great, because we're hoping to move into St. Jamestown too. So that night, the Moss Park prayer team prayed for us and essentially commissioned our team to start in September. And that's when everything got going very, very quickly. Density is by far the biggest problem in St. Jamestown, just because there are so many people. And along with that population, it's very high immigrants. More than half of the neighborhood are immigrants, and many of them are families. And so with that, people have a very hard time getting jobs. It's very difficult for these new Canadians to get jobs because they don't have Canadian experience. Language is a bit of a barrier. General daily living is a bit of a problem too. There's maintenance that's needed on the buildings. A lot of time, a lot of the elevators aren't functioning, which is a big problem for elderly people and families who live very high up. Being concerned about doing a full-time school, doing worship at a church, and then being in a community, and I was really worried about how much can I involve myself in this community if I'm already doing this other stuff. That was a concern for me. I met a neighbor at a meeting for the MPP for the local constituency, and I ended up being able to tell him about MoveIn. And I shared with him why we're living here, what we're doing, and he was blown away by the fact that we were choosing to live in this neighborhood. And I've been able to regularly meet with him and talk with him and just pour into him. Another neighbor I met, I caught him in the hallway and said hi, and he stopped and wanted to talk. And I said, if you'd want to come over for tea sometime. And that night he came. I got the sense that he was very lonely. Living in community and living with this group of people that I'm living with has just been awesome. Celebrating birthdays, celebrating things with neighbors, just like Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Easter time, just inviting neighbors over, and it's been so awesome to celebrate with one another. We meet every Wednesday night to pray, and we decided that our prayer meetings would start at 7:30, but early on I told the team that we need to eat together as part of our prayer meetings. So every Wednesday night at 6:30 we have a meal either at our place or at the girls' place, and then we start prayer soon after that. Our prayer meetings are very encouraging. We leave regularly with a sense of, wow, that happened in this past week already. Also seeing just how our lives have been built up and feeling so blessed by one another.